Greetings and welcome to the latest installment of Discover Indy Parks. I'm Linda Broadfoot. I'm your director of Indy Parks, and I'm here today at the Eagle Creek Ornithology Center with our fabulous manager Will Schaust. Hi, Will. Welcome to the show.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
So we are in the middle in one of the most exciting rooms in the Ornithology Center. Tell me a little bit about the Ornithology Center in general and what happens in here in particular.
So this is our main exhibit hall where we have about 120 taxidermied birds, all sorted out by their native habitats. And so we've got an early successional kind of prairie, grassland sort of area. We've got an edge habitat that's brand new, and then we're adding in new birds into our interior forest. And so this is a really great way for folks to kind of find these birds in their natural habitat, but more importantly, see them up close. With birding, it's very, very hard because you're looking up at a 45-degree angle, 60, 70 feet up. So it's very hard to see these birds up close and learn a lot of those identifying features. So this really serves as a great educational tool to see those birds up close and personal.
Why is the study of birds so important? Why do we care so much about ornithology here?
So bird feeding and bird watching actually is the most popular hobby in the U.S. Over 40 million people claim to either bird watch or bird feed or some combination of the two. If you look at the success of stores like Wild Birds Unlimited, people are willing to drop a lot of money on bird seed, peanuts and sunflower seeds. So people might say it's capitalizing on that sort of fad and trend, but birds are really, really interesting. Cornell Lab of Ornithology has done all sorts of interesting studies on bird partnerships and migration, and with Eagle Creek being such a hot spot for birds, we see about 277 bird species in this park year-round, and so it's just really a great way for those folks to kind of get excited about birds, and especially with our live birds, it's a great way to kind of provoke our audience into caring more about birds.
So talk about, I know you guys do a lot of programming here. You see a lot of kids. What can folks do? When can they come out here and what can they experience when they're here?
So we're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and Sundays 1 to 5. And every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we have free programming at 2:30. On Saturday, we have our raptor feeding time where usually we'll get our turkey vulture and let her tear apart some mice and rats and chicks and quail. And it's really cool to see that in the process. And then on Sundays, we have a Meet a Raptor, where we'll get a chance to get one of our 6 birds out and talk about their adaptations, see what makes them such great hunters and survivalists, and obviously a chance for pictures and to see those birds up close. Otherwise, during the week, you can come in, check out our exhibit hall. We've got all kinds of scavenger hunts and fun little activities. You can come out and watch the birds in our bird feeding area, which is really, really peaceful. Get a nice cup of coffee and just kind of sit out there and watch our birds. So we have opportunities every single day, except for the city holidays when we're closed. But other than that, we've got tons of great opportunities out here.
Yeah, I got to say that bird feeding area is one of my favorite places to hang out in Indy Parks. You sit and watch all the birds come and eat, and the squirrels and the chipmunks, and it's a little captive place to watch nature. It's pretty awesome. Tell me, Will, I'm going to ask you a really hard question. What's your favorite bird?
So typically we're not supposed to because it's like picking your favorite kid, but we do anyway. I would have to say I think peregrine falcons are our favorite just because they're so well adapted, fastest animal in the world, 250, 220 miles an hour, free fall. And they've adapted so well to overcoming the DDT crisis of the 60s and 70s and working all the way back up to nesting all over Indiana, being a very common bird now. So I'd have to say peregrine falcon, probably.
And so up next, we're going to meet one of our avian friends. Who are we going to meet?
We're going to meet our great horned owl.
All right. Yes. We'll bring him out. And so now, Will, you've brought out one of our favorite avian friends here at the Ornithology Center. Tell me a little bit about who you've got here.
So this is our great horned owl. All the birds that live with us are permanently injured, non-releasable birds. So unfortunately, she was hit by a truck, broke her left wing, and the trick with bird bones being hollow is it's very hard for those bones to heal in the correct spot. So her wing healed just a little bit crooked, so she can't get that full range of motion, therefore can't achieve lift and can't hunt as well. So that's why she lives with us. Great horned owls are pretty common here in Eagle Creek. We actually have a nesting pair in the park, but we like to have one here just to give folks an up-close look. Folks love owls thanks to movies like Harry Potter, and so we love to provide that opportunity for her. Her diet is pretty consistent with wild owls. We feed her mice and rats and chicks and quails, and just to give her a little bit of variety in her diet. So very well cared for.
And I know it takes a lot of special training in order to care for a creature like this. Tell me what the staff here goes through in order to take care of birds.
So both of our full-time staff have been to the Minnesota Raptor Center up in St. Paul to attend the care and management of captive birds of prey. And we completed that week-long course, so that was a great baseline for us. And then we're constantly reading and updating our training plans to make sure that these birds have as low stress of a life as possible, because obviously doing programs for school kids where everybody's yelling and moving around can be a little bit stressful. So our whole goal is to make sure that they feel calm on the glove. Nothing's going to jump out and grab them. They can feel safe, because this is not normal for a bird to sit this close to a human on something that is clearly not a tree branch. So that takes kind of day in, day out training, which we use food rewards. Basically, if she's sitting up on the glove nice and calm, she gets a piece of food. And if she's exhibiting a behavior that we don't want to encourage, then she won't get a piece of food and won't reinforce that behavior.
Yeah. She's very, very cool, and from here I can see her little tongue, and yeah, it's very cool. Who else do we have here at the Ornithology Center? What other birds are here for young kids and folks to meet?
So we have 6 total. We have a turkey vulture, which is on display out by the parking lot. We also have a barred owl, a screech owl, and our great horn for 3 owls total, a red-tailed hawk, and an American kestrel, which is a small falcon species.
Excellent. And again, people can come and meet these birds in person on the weekends for sure, correct?
Absolutely. The other thing you can do is schedule a program with us. Give us a call. We'd be more than happy to work something out with you. And the earlier you call with us, the more flexibility we'll have as far as what birds we can use, just because of that stress factor. We don't want to overwork them too much.
That's awesome. Okay, so I think that probably wraps us up here at the Ornithology Center. Thank you, Will, and thank you to our owl friend. It's been great to learn about what you do here, and I think up next we're going to head out to the Earth Discovery Center and see some more of the park. So we just left the Eagle Creek Ornithology Center, and now we're here at the Eagle Creek Earth Discovery Center, and I'm here with Don Van Diemen, the manager here. Excited to learn more about what happens in this building, and we're going to meet some creatures that live around here as well. Welcome, Don.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about the Earth Discovery Center, what happens here, what can visitors experience when they come to visit?
Right, so we are a big nature center, and we are open 7 days a week. So you can come out anytime during open hours and visit and look at our exhibits. We also offer a lot of family programming, some free nature programs. So for instance, every Saturday at 1:30, there's a nature discovery class where you can get out and learn something about nature, and that's just free with park admission. We also offer classes for preschoolers, for the little guys. We do story time, all the way up to adults, an Indiana Master Naturalist series for folks that want to get more in depth. So a little bit of something for everyone to get back in touch with nature.
Yes. So every time I drive out here, I think, what a great place to get to work every day. Oh, yeah. What do you love about Eagle Creek? I think I continue to be surprised. There are still people that haven't been here or don't know sort of the depth and breadth of what we offer out here. So what do you love about Eagle Creek? What would you recommend people check out when they're here?
Well, just the habitat, the forest, the lake, the little streams and ponds, and the diversity of wildlife that you can see. So every season there's something different. I get to be here every day, and I'm surprised every day. Every day I discover something new in the park, a new plant, a new animal, a weird bug. So it's never boring. It's always an adventure to come out to the park.
So I happen to know from experience that you have some special skills.
Yes.
Aside from being, brilliant at your job and knowing a lot about, plants and animals and the park itself, you can do frog calls.
Yeah. So my other nickname is Frog Dawn. And I love frogs. I don't know why. They're just so amazing and slimy and beautiful and interesting. And I spend a lot of time just talking to them. So I've gotten pretty good at imitating their calls. Surprisingly, none of them say ribbit. I don't know a single frog that says ribbit, but first thing in spring, we'll hear the tiny spring peepers, and they sound just like their name, so it's very high-pitched. I hope I don't hurt the microphone. Beep. And then a little later in the year, we get the gray tree frogs. They sound like this. And then the toads will start singing, sort of a very long version of the gray tree frog. And then as we head into summer, we hear the green frogs calling. And the bullfrogs, of course. Broom. Broom, broom. And then the little tiny cricket frogs that sound like little bugs. So all these amazing sounds out there, all made by frogs.
And they're all here at Eagle Creek.
All here at Eagle Creek, yep. So we'll do programs in the spring where you can go out and look for the frogs and listen to them in person, not just me making the sounds. And we also do a lot of classes with the kids with field trips. We'll take them out to the pond, and they catch tadpoles and pond bugs and get to see the frogs as well. So one of my favorite things to do.
So I think we're going to meet some of our wildlife friends. Who are we going to meet first?
Oh, well, let's start with, since it's October, a little spooky, would you like to start with a snake?
Sure.
Some slightly creepy crawly creatures. All right, so they're right over this way.
And so we've gotten out one of our snake friends here at the Eagle Creek Earth Discovery Center. Dawn, tell us a little bit about who you've got here.
All right, this is our black rat snake, and they are one of the really common snakes in the park and actually throughout Indiana. And they can be a little intimidating. They get really big. They can get as long as 8 feet long. This one's only about 6 feet, so he's not as huge as they can be. But they're non-venomous. They're actually very laid back. So they're tree climbers. You can see how he's hanging on to my arm, just like I'm a tree branch. So they're just usually big, mellow snakes. They're not interested in hurting you or biting you if you come across one out in the forest, as long as you leave it alone. Don't try and pick it up, of course, if it's a wild snake, and it will go about its business and not bother you at all. So one of the things we like to do here is to get people more comfortable out in nature. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions and fears, and a lot of it is just not knowing, is this snake dangerous? Is it harmless? So the more you get to know them, really the less there is to be afraid of, and it's more interesting, more fun to get outside once you get to know him. So this guy's a very nice guy. We've had him since he was an egg, so he's really used to us.
Before we started taping, you called him the Saint Bernard of snakes.
Saint Bernard of snakes, yeah. So he's big, but this particular species is just laid back, very mellow, not likely to be interested in biting or following you or doing anything.
Yep.
Does it feel slimy?
Very cool. No, not slimy
Not
at all.
slimy,
Yeah,
a
just
lot of people think they're slimy.
yeah, just feels like a little rough, but not too rough.
Dry and scaly.
Yeah. I dare say this snake is sweet.
I agree. Yeah, one of the sweetest snakes out there.
Excellent.
So if you come to the park, if you're lucky, you might get to see one out in the woods.
So we are going to meet one final wildlife guest here at Eagle Creek Park. Dawn has some possums for us. Dawn, tell us a little bit about who we have here.
All right, these two little girls are here because they were not releasable. So they were orphans. Their mother was hit by a car. And unfortunately, as they grew up, they developed some bone deformities and issues. So they're not able to survive out in the wild. So we have special permits to keep them here to let people meet them. There are a lot of misconceptions about opossums. People kind of look at them and think they're a big rat. And they're actually related to kangaroos.
Oh,
so they're marsupials. They have a little pouch on their belly, and that's where the babies stay. So we're going to open the door here and see if they'll come out and have some breakfast for us. They should be pretty hungry. So they are about 6 months old, not quite full grown yet. And they have a very good sense of smell. So this is the smaller sister here. And they're eating some puppy chow for breakfast, so that's not their entire diet, but that's part of what they get. And they also get some natural food, some bugs, some fruits and vegetables.
So I think it's important for us probably to emphasize as we're looking at, what do appear to be cute animals. They're eating puppy chow. We've got them in a cage, but these aren't pets, right?
Exactly. So you'll notice I'm wearing gloves. I've had them since they were tiny babies. They're pretty friendly. They're still wild animals, so they can be unpredictable. They need very special care. So they're best left out in the wild. In this case, since unfortunately they can't go in the wild, we are lucky enough to be able to keep them and have people meet them and learn about them. But yes, not exactly the best pets, like most wild animals.
I think we got to put it crunchy.
Good stuff. This one's being a little bit shy, so we'll see if her bigger sister here would like to come out. Oh, nope, that's my glove. That's why I have the gloves on. Aim is not always the best.
Talk a little bit more about the important function that possums play in the wild and how they interact.
So these are nature's garbage collectors. They eat a little bit of everything, including diseased animals or dead things out there. So they're kind of the cleanup crew. They're part of the food chain, so they are eaten by other animals as well as eating other things out there. And then the really neat information coming out in the last few years is their importance in controlling ticks. They're really clean little animals. They like to groom themselves. So if a tick attaches to them, they'll groom it right out with their toenails and eat it. And so there's been some studies done showing they really are good at vacuuming up the ticks out there, which is good news because less ticks helps out the human population as well.
And, before we kind of wrap things up, tell us again, hours for the Earth Discovery Center, what folks can do here and how they can find out more.
Sure. So we are open 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday, 1 to 5 on Sundays. And if you go to indyparks.org and just search Eagle Creek Park, all of our programs come up. You can also find us on Facebook. So we have an Eagle Creek Park Facebook page and then an Eagle Creek Park Naturalist Facebook page, which has some educational information and highlights some of our programs with a little more detail. So please check us out. We'd love to see you out at the park.
Excellent, excellent. Before I close the show, I think we should hear the crunching one more time. All right, I think that wraps us up here at Eagle Creek Park. Thanks so much to Dawn and to Will over at the Ornithology Center. It's been great to see some gems. I hope people come out and explore, and remember that every day is a great day in a park. Thanks so much.